So if you're a weird little goblin-minded thing like me, you took one look at this, saw a tablecloth and thought, that is going to make a really cool skirt. So let's make a really cool skirt. Okay, so we do get a fair decent amount. So we've got 180 centimetres. Really cool. Bat effect, we've got some spiders, it's mostly webs. Now this of course is not going to be a full cover skirt. I'm thinking like just a little lacy overskirt. You know, if you put something shorter underneath. I'm just going to do a gathered sort of jobby. Let's see how much fabric we've got. I'm just going to have a play around with this, very much not using a pattern and just going with vibes. Hoping nothing messes up. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Hey, so the idea is that this folded is pretty much the exact right height for me to be a almost, not quite maxi, like going down to my ankles because I am short. If you were taller than me, this is obviously going to be more of a midi kind of thing, but this is one of the benefits of being short is you need a lot less material to do bigger things. Essentially, the idea is just to gather it all at the top and there's a skirt. Now I don't want to lose this detail at the side with the bats. That could come in useful for something else, so I'm going to slice it off so we've got nice straight edges and just leave the hem as is at the bottom. I reckon this might take me an hour, which is very exciting because I could have something new in an hour. Famous last words. I always say that and it always ends up taking me triple the amount of time. And something that inevitably goes wrong. I am so excited for this to be the first time where that doesn't happen. So after valiantly slaying the fierce tablecloth, I folded it in half so the edges lined up, slit open its belly and removed some of its entrails for use in a further project. I decided to use the overlocker for this because I am inherently lazy and this is the quickest way of doing it, but it worked out okay, so there we go. So, do you remember when I said everything was going to go to plan? I was convinced I had some thick black elastic which I was going to use as the waistband, but I have white elastic and I have gold elastic, which this is pretty snazzy. Like if I was doing this for like a special event, this is what I would be using 100%, but I want this to be more of a versatile piece and this isn't giving versatile. So a cog in the cog, chink in the cog, armour? Flaw in the plan, a bump in the road, doesn't matter, you know what I'm trying to say. What I'm going to do, I actually have a lot of black material to hand, so what I'm going to do is cut out a waistband that is the length of my sewn skirt. It's going to be twice the width of the elastic plus a centimetre for seam allowance. And yeah, it's going to be one very long rectangle, which I'm going to turn into a waistband, which I'm going to thread my elastic through. Now, cleverly here as a guide, I just use my skirt, so I don't have to bother getting out rulers or measuring tape, but stupidly, I do forget one very crucial part. Let's see if you work out my mistake before I do. I place the two together at the short end. I'm going to sew a few centimetres one side, a few centimetres the other side, and I'm going to leave the middle open because that's the gap that I'm going to leave myself to thread the elastic through at the end. So now we have, for all intents and purposes, a loop. I'm just going to fold this in half so it's about the thickness the waistband is going to have all the way around, and this raw edge is going to get pinned to the top edge of the skirt on the outside. So I'm going to do that off camera because I feel it'll be fiddly to do. You know when I said we weren't going to make any more mistakes? Because I folded it in half, this is now half the length of the skirt. So I'm going to make another one of these, sew it together in one bigger loop, and then it will fit. Cool stuff. Guys, we sorted it. So now I have a very long waistband. Okay, one edge completely sewn together. At the other edge, we've got our gap in the middle to thread our elastic through. Crisis over. We're going to fold it in half all the way around. pin it to the top of the skirt. I'll show you that when it's done. But here it is sped up in case you really wanted to see it. Okay, we are finally getting somewhere. Everything... Why? Okay. Okay, got the waistband pinned all around the top of the skirt, and essentially what I'm just going to do now is just sew a very long loop all the way around. Now that's why it was important that we pinned it to the front of the skirt. We're going to sew it together because then when we flip it up, all that stitching is going to be hidden inside. Then all I need to do is thread the elastic through and job's a good 'un. 10 minutes. Let's do it. Waistband attached. Brilliant. Okay, you're going to get your elastic, put it around where you want the thing. You don't want it to be too tight because then it would be uncomfortable. So just snugly around your waist, make sure that it's stretchy enough. You can get it down over your hips and cut it to length, thread it through. 5 minutes. I have one of these. I don't know what they're called, but they're very useful. But for the longest time, I just use a safety pin. So if you don't have one of these, just use a safety pin. Then you're going to find that gap that we left in the waistband, thread your elastic through. You just hold, scrunch, pull. I would recommend pinning this to the edge to stop it from being pulled all the way through, because then you'll have to pull it out and start all again, which is annoying. I can't be bothered finding one, so I'm just going to write it. Eventually, you will get through the other end, and I'm just going to pinch these together while I work the elastic through and spread out all those lovely, I don't know if you call them gathers. It is gathered. But yeah, we're just going to want to make sure that your elastic isn't twisted, which I think this very much is. I'm going to do this off camera because this is boring. Once your elastic is straighter than I am, you're going to put it on the sewing machine, and I just went over it a few times with a zigzag stitch at both ends of the elastic to keep it nice and secure, and then you just sew up that gap in your waistband. Oh, look how pleased I am with this make. Like, I know it wasn't that impressive, like it's a very simple thing, but you know what? It turned out cute. I had a nice afternoon. I, went through some mistakes and I got a versatile new piece to add to my wardrobe. So thank you for sticking around with this madness today, and I will see you next time.